morning, everyone. Welcome back to Apocalypse Movies. My name is Jake Berlin, aka Qui-Gon Jake, and this is the Fandalorian Club, our Mandalorian review special we have here on the channel. And we're diving into everything that this show has to offer every week after every episode. Usually it airs on Friday nights, but because we got together today, and it is just Jacob and I today, it made more sense to go live this morning right before our other shows. And so, as I mentioned, I am joined today by Obi-Wan Jacoby.
Hello there.
It is just the two of us.
Yes.
Very, very excited to talk some Mandalorian with a really, really cool episode. But yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk some Star Wars, obviously. Star Wars, just craziness is
It's
hitting
flooding
me.
in.
Like, I have been so focused on other things, like, I didn't realize Rise of Skywalker's next week. We're not here to talk Rise of
Less than a
Skywalker,
week.
but it's all combined, right? The toys, the Mandalorian, the novels, everything.
Totally,
Disney
totally.
Plus, like, just, we're Star Wars.
It's going to be awesome.
Star
Oh,
Wars
saber
out.
turned off. Maybe it might have a safety net.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Good to know.
Save
Good
some
to know.
battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried it. It was on for the beginning of the show. Which is
Hey,
cool.
that's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here to talk some Mandalorian. And last night the episode The Prisoner aired, and episode 6. We only have 2 left, man.
I
We only have
can't
2.
believe it.
It's gone so fast.
And the next one airs on Wednesday, which is kind of
I
cool.
know it's not. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah. So before we get into it, just a little background on the show, a little bit if you have not joined us. We kind of do our general thoughts. Just talk a little bit about what we think about the episode beforehand, and then we kind of go through the episode beat by beat and talk about maybe some Easter eggs, some theories, where we expect it to go. And so with that said, let's get into it. Jacob, your initial thoughts, man. The Prisoner, episode 6. What did you think?
Well, I actually, really quick, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on the last episode since you
I
weren't
was
here.
not here.
So, really quick, just a minute or so.
I enjoyed the last episode. I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it much more the first time I saw it. I watched it twice.
Yeah, so did I.
And I felt like I had these blinders over my head because it was on Tatooine. There
Yeah.
was so much.
I saw you were so upset you couldn't join us that week.
Yes,
because,
and there was so much nostalgia going on with like Dune Sea and Womp Rats and like all of these things going on. I thought it was a really, really solid episode. But I was still in the essence of, man, I really wish that they would stick to one storyline.
Well, that has not been the case.
So,
Right.
and now
Other
I'm
than-
okay with that.
Other than he's protecting
Yes.
this
And
baby.
so, and
That's it.
my point of view has shifted this week, which is why I love this week's episode so much,
Yeah.
because I'm starting to realize
Well,
that.
you're expecting it.
Yeah, I'm starting to
you know
realize.
what's funny? I have a feeling the last 2 episodes are going to flip it on its head. It's going
100%.
to focus on a story.
It's
the
going to go
last
back
2
to its arc.
episodes.
It's going to go back to the
Exactly.
normal arc. 100%. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I mean, going back to Tatooine and seeing the difference between the 20-year period or whatever is really cool. And like the cantina and just
a lot of people are saying that episode was pointless and it had no substance at all. And I totally disagree.
There was totally a point.
Yeah, and my major takeaway is people say we didn't learn anything about the Mandalorian. I totally disagree. We're learning that he's flawed. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, like leaving the baby alone and letting other people see the baby when obviously a lot of people in the galaxy are looking for it.
And it continued this episode too.
Exactly. So,
yeah, let's fast forward. I mean,
for sure.
Initial thoughts, right?
The Prisoner. I like this episode a lot.
So do I.
I like it a lot.
I think it's awesome.
So the way I watch these episodes, I wake up at like 6:30 in the morning on Thursday. The only time you're gonna see me wake up that early is to watch The Mandalorian. So I'm like halfway asleep when I watch it the first time, but I still am absorbing it, and I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. Like, there's all these new characters, and I didn't love it the first time I saw it, which is kind of the opposite of your experience last week. And then the second time I watched it, I liked it a lot more after thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas last episode was very nostalgic and playing on everything we know. I feel like this episode had so much new stuff in it.
And there was a lot that happened in a short amount of time.
Exactly. New characters, and we learned a lot about the New Republic. I don't want to say we learned a lot, but we learned the
enough.
most.
We learned enough.
We learned the most we've learned so far about the New Republic. And even though they're the good guys, the way they're set up doesn't feel much different than the Empire. The way they operate as a government. So I thought that was really cool. And I thought it was cool to learn a little bit about the Mandalorian's past and about the kind of things
we're
he did
slowly
and ran with.
getting more deep.
And while, we know he has this history with the Mandalorians, presume they saved him and raised him, he is one of those guys, I want to say maybe like a Wolverine, who's done some bad stuff in the past, and who now, we don't know how old he is, but as a more experienced older man, he's kind of trying to be a good guy as much as possible. And they hint towards some bad stuff that he's done in this episode.
Well, yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, the stuff with the Twi'leks and leaving them behind, or he had to do what he had to do, as he said.
And even just the main guy, the guy, like the boss guy of that spaceport, he's man, we did some crazy stuff back in the day. He's like, that was a long time ago.
It really makes me, I really want to see that team together.
Yeah. I love that guy. I forget his name.
Bill Burr.
No. The
the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
I was going to say, he's from Sons of Anarchy, so I love that guy.
Yeah, no, he's great. I was not expecting, there was so many cameos in this episode. It was filled, and Rick Famuyiwa directed this episode. I thought it was a really strong episode, and I mentioned with the last week's episode that there's not a single arc that's going episode by episode. It's kind of like, here's one storyline, but I'm still sticking a little bit with what's going on. As I mentioned, my thought process switching. I'm okay with it not being serialized, or it being serialized, whatever it is. Because I now know what the show is, and if I'm getting episodes like this where it's kind of venturing off into cool different things every week, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
And there's incredible action, like you mentioned. We learned new things about the New Republic with like them using droids for the prisoners and all of these things going on, and meeting these wacky, interesting characters like Zero the droid, or Bill Burr's character, and I don't have his name off the top of my head, and then the Twi'lek too, she is just wild, absolutely crazy. I love that joke what Bill Burr makes, like when he first sees Baby Yoda, about, did you guys make that? Yeah, it's such a good little joke there.
And it's funny because he doesn't know what the Mandalorian looks like.
Exactly.
So he could be like a big green person.
Exactly. And I thought it was cool that, even though, they haven't seen him either. The scruffy looking guy and the Twi'lek too. Nobody has ever really seen him, which is really, really interesting. And the fact that he's not Mandalorian, more interesting. I thought and we'll get into it, but the cameo, I don't know if you noticed, but the guard on the prison.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
So I didn't recognize him at first, but I found out afterwards who he was. The voice of Anakin in Clone Wars.
Which is awesome.
I didn't know what he looked like.
Sick cameo.
That's cool.
I noticed him right away, which is really. I think his name's Matt Lanter. Which is really cool. Just a really solid episode through. Rick Famuyiwa has directed 2 great episodes so far. He did 2 and 6.
For sure.
So I'm pumped going forward. It's obviously going to get back to its original story more than likely. Because we haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito yet. Haven't seen the Death Troopers.
Because he has such a big presence in the trailer.
Cara Dune she's got to come back in some capacity.
Oh man,
there's so many things happening in just 2 episodes left.
I don't think we're gonna see anybody back that we've seen so far. I think it's gonna be him and Baby just seeing this out to the end.
Do you think Carl Weathers is gonna come back?
Maybe.
He's gonna come back for some revenge, right?
I think we're going to see almost all of these characters back in season.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
So I think this is like introduction.
Makes sense.
We're going to see most of them back in season. So Rick Famuyiwa, I've settled on that episode 2 is my favorite of them. A lot of people. Okay. So episode 2 and 3 are just, oh my goodness. They're both neck and neck. But I settled on, the reveal that Baby Yoda's Force sensitive and him lifting up the Mudhorn has feels of Luke grabbing the lightsaber in Empire. Like it's that reveal of the Force, and it has that special moment to me. So that's my favorite. But this one's like my 3rd or 4th favorite. So Famuyiwa is killing it.
He's incredible, and he put himself in the episode, which is really cool.
That was cool.
The cameos, so they have Filoni, Famuyiwa, and Deborah Chow, which is really. So let's move on a little bit. Favorite moments of the episode, something that may have stood out to you.
Well, I'll say I liked Bill Burr in this episode. Yeah. So, I'll admit I don't really know who Bill Burr is. I didn't know about him.
He's a great comedian.
So I heard that. So I just went into this episode. I didn't even know who he was. Didn't recognize him anything. And that happens. Sometimes there's people celebrities that you don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, this is interesting character choice, to do this kind of character. And at first I was like, guy needs to relax. But then as the episode went on, I liked him. And then I go start watching reviews online and everything, and everybody's saying, oh, I can't take Bill Burr seriously in a Star Wars movie. And coming from a person who didn't know who he was, he worked for me really well.
I thought the character was really good planned out. Like, really, or I guess really planned out.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, even though he would never beat the Mandalorian in a fight, he challenged the Mandalorian in wits, I guess, in like
leadership, almost
in leadership, in like dialogue, and he challenged the Mandalorian in a way that I don't think he's been challenged yet. Like someone was challenging like the mentality of the Mandalorian and just trying to test him a little bit. And I thought it was interesting, even after they see him, which, by the way, is the greatest action scene in The Mandalorian so far, when he takes those droids out all by himself. Yeah. Which, that was my favorite part of this episode, when he takes out all those droids on his own. Even after that, they're still like they still don't respect him. Mm-hmm. They're kind of doing that on purpose because they're planning to betray him. So, I just want to say, the Bill Burr thing, I thought his character worked really well for me. Like, he was kind of a douche, but I think it's kind of like an act in a way. Like, he's just has that shield up in a way. And then I really loved the action in this episode.
Yeah, the action, it's because it's hand to hand, it's on the ground. Mm-hmm. There's nothing really, yes, the droids are involved, but he's probably fighting somebody in some kind of green suit or something. Yeah. And so it's all ground combat that's real. And the way he uses his stuff too, like with the flamethrower and the harpoon gun thing, and like it's just.
So a lot of people were like comparing him to Batman this episode.
That's very interesting. I never thought about
for all the gadgets and when he turns the lights off and he's all sneaking around.
Dude, that scene is so cool.
Yeah, it really is.
I gotta say, Bill Burr, his bat gun that comes out.
Oh, that was cool.
So sick. It's just like a side gun that's like protected. It's like a War Machine type gun. Yeah. Which is really cool.
That's
Favreau
cool.
doing War
and
Machine.
One of my favorite lines, he was a sharpshooter for the Empire.
Yes.
I wasn't a stormtrooper. I love that line.
So I'm surprised that I didn't know Bill Burr was going to be in the season until later on, because he was featured on Favreau's Netflix show, Chef.
Oh, nice, nice.
And
I heard they're friends. Like,
and so it makes sense that he would be on it.
Yeah.
I thought his character was really good. I would love to see him back in some capacity in the future. Whether it happens or not, I'm not sure. But I thought that he had the comedic lines, but it wasn't over the top.
And surprisingly enough, the Gungan line was actually really funny to me.
It was throwing shade at the Gungans, which is hilarious. And let's move on to the Twi'lek. I would say the action scene with the droids is probably my favorite too. It's so awesome. But the Twi'lek too. I mean, she obviously has some major history with it.
So whether or not we find that out, she was at first, and then I was like, "Who is that?" And I felt like I recognized her, and it's Natalia Tena,
who plays.
She was in Harry Potter.
Yeah, she plays the purple-haired woman in Harry Potter,
and then she was in where I most recognize her from is Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bran's helper.
Yeah,
she helps Bran, the wildling.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people don't like her in this episode. I didn't mind her. Like, I like the character, and I like the history with the Mandalorian. I do feel like was like doing a little too much, but I think maybe they told her to do that, like all the growling and the hissing and all that stuff. Like, I haven't seen that much from Twi'leks.
No.
Like, Hera doesn't act like that at all. But they are different. If you say they're all Twi'leks, maybe they're different races of Twi'leks, right? Like Hera's the green, and maybe they're more elegant and sophisticated. And these light purple Twi'leks, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the Mandalorians where they have tribes almost.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like humans, right? Humans in different areas, different races, we all act different, right? So I took it that way. Like maybe these two, because her and her brother had a similar vibe to them.
Sociopaths.
Absolutely. But I like her. I felt, even though we can't see the Mandalorian's face, I felt that tension between them.
They have a long history, whether it's romantic or not. Who knows?
It's definitely sexual.
Yes. Yeah. Well, to her at least. Yeah. She digs that. And then their other comrade, and it's played by Clancy Brown.
Yes.
Who voices a lot of Star Wars characters.
He was in Rebels, right?
He was in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
He voiced some stuff in Clone Wars as well, so he's been involved with a bunch of stuff. I love seeing he's so good at what he does and playing that brooding force, like, and then the way. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he die?
He did not.
Okay, so he was in the last shot.
Yeah, his horns are broken.
Oh,
and he's like, oh.
So
dude, for me, his race or his species is basically almost indestructible.
Yeah,
essentially. Because,
the flamethrower.
Yeah, the flamethrower, and that door closed on him. But
that would have killed anybody else.
Yeah, so his race is like very. They must be invulnerable. I don't even know, but we saw him get injured. Like his horns, the top of his horns are broken off, and he was just like, oh, like he had a huge headache. And I'm glad. Because at first I thought the Mandalorian killed them all.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, cool. And they don't show that scene or leave them alive if we're not going to see it.
100%. And it's also a cool character development for him because obviously with their history of that team, Mando has killed a lot of people. But then he spares them because he's kind of changing. He's evolving.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because in the first episode, the first thing he does is kill somebody. And a guy who was running away. And I'm like... Okay, interesting. So
Baby Yoda, man.
Maybe
Baby Yoda's changed him.
That's
Baby Yoda's changed him.
Interesting. Well, the thing is, all right, if he's in battle and it's you or him, because he kills the guy in the dogfight in the last episode.
Yes.
So if it's you're his life, he's gonna take you out. But if he doesn't have to kill you, he's not gonna kill you. Basically, other than Clancy Brown's character, neither of them were a threat to him, like in a hand-to-hand combat fight. So he didn't have to kill them, and he barely beat Clancy Brown's character. Like he tried everything he possibly could to try to beat
that
him.
fight scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, the droid scene is my favorite, but that's my second
fight
favorite.
Scene is really cool.
Scene is when they're fighting because he tries everything. He tries the whistling. What are they called?
The whistling,
whatever they call
something, yeah.
Whatever, the whistling dogs or something.
Whistling dogs,
I don't
maybe
know,
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
He tries those. He tries the flamethrower. He just tries to like shoot him in the face, and he just knocks his hands down. He tries everything, and he just had to use the ship to try to. And that almost didn't work. Yeah. So, that was really cool. So, and the thing is, I think, he knows Natalia Tenya's character, but he doesn't know the other characters before this. But he just felt like they don't need to die. Like they're, so. I like that.
Yeah, I think the episode did a lot for the character, did a lot for the story. Obviously, it's not stuff with the Bounty Hunters Guild coming after him, but there's a lot of development as far as people now knowing that he has Yoda and how terrible he is at keeping that secret.
So terrible.
Like, figure out a way to hide him better than just under a door where they're easily going to find him.
And he always gets revealed. And the Baby Yoda can just let himself out in time.
Yeah, well, I love the scene where he's playing with the droid. He's playing hide and seek, essentially. The droid turns around, and he's gone in an instant.
And by the way, Mando has no problem killing the droid.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Well, he hates droids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, clearly.
But as far as droids go, that droid was pretty damn cool.
But I would have loved to have seen what the droid was capable of.
Yeah.
Because they kept saying how he was the best, and he was just in the ship the entire time.
All right, so that brings me to something. The first time I watched the episode, I was like, that's so... Why is he landing like that? That was so stupid. But then, when you watch it again, when they're planning the mission, they show, like, when they get out of hyperspace, like a red line. That it's like a path they have to take, and it's, like, all crazy in order to land on the ship to stay camouflaged so the ship doesn't detect them.
So why it was all herky-jerky.
Exactly. As soon as he gets out of hyperspace, but he still didn't really warn them. He was just like, exiting hyperspace now. And then it goes like...
Did you...
And it lands.
I could not believe that they went as far as they did with... When that happened, Baby Yoda fell on the ground.
Oh, I know. And Mandalorian's like... dives after
full
him.
on, like, just fell from, like, 5 feet up.
Yeah. Well...
Heartbroken.
Mayfield, Bill Burr's character, was the one... pretending to drop him. What a douche. What a douche, man.
He plays a great douche. Plays a great douche. All right, well, yes, I mean, there's our thoughts on episode 6, The Prisoner. I mean, some really, really cool stuff happened in that episode, but going forward, I mean, there's definitely some things that we want to see, obviously.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito, the Death Troopers are supposed to be in there at somewhere.
Who were the boots at the end of
exactly that? I mean, obviously, that's probably the biggest thing we're going to be looking forward to.
I mean, they have to address that. If they don't address that, That's ridiculous. You can't do that. You can do that on the last episode of the season. You can't do that on the 5th episode of an 8-episode season and then not address it.
100%. And leave it for season 2. That'd just be terrible.
No way.
Do you it's Bubba?
Yes, I do. Because, all right, we already know Giancarlo Esposito's in the show. So why? That's not a reveal.
No. One, he wouldn't have a cape either. He's in like Stormtrooper armor.
And so we hear like spurs.
That's the telling thing for everyone. Everyone's going for the spurs, and that's synonymous to Bubba.
It's either another bounty hunter with a cape that wears spurs, or it's Boba Fett.
It can't be someone that we don't know because they would show.
Exactly.
Or her.
Because if it was somebody we don't know, right?
Yeah.
What's the point of not showing them? Like, if we saw them, we wouldn't know who they are anyway, so it doesn't matter.
If it's Boba Fett, I'm going to lose my mind.
Fett.
I'm going to lose my mind.
Have you heard the synopsis for the next episode?
No.
You don't want to?
I stay away from it.
I unfortunately was exposed to it unintentionally. Not going to say anything.
Is it a clear indication? Now you're just leaving me on a...
No.
Okay.
It doesn't say Mandalorian meets up with Boba Fett.
But it says something.
It says something that hints, not necessarily towards Boba Fett, but the way the synopsis is phrased, like, it's very likely that it's possible.
You know who's directing the next episode?
Wow. So,
she's already handled Mandalorians.
And the thing is, I'm wondering, because do you think, is it Ming-Na Wang? Is that her? You think she's dead?
No.
Why they wouldn't show her get picked up? I was telling Brian because
unless she has something that character
Brian
wants.
thought that she was for sure dead, and I was like, all right, they wouldn't show her get picked up like that if she was dead, right? Unless he's taking her, like, you can bring her in dead or alive and get the bounty, maybe. But I was telling him, like, maybe whatever, she has some type of armor on that is not gonna completely protect her, but like her getting that blaster is like getting punched in the stomach really, really, really hard, and it just knocks
like a
her
stun
out.
gun, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I took it. I don't think she's dead.
And the character that shot her wasn't that experienced in doing that. So maybe he didn't know, or something would happen as far as him shooting her. But yeah, I don't think you get someone like Ming-Na Wen just for that. She had like 2 minutes of screen.
Yeah, no way.
It was so small, and she kicks so much ass. There's no way that she's not back at something.
And it was such a big deal that she was cast and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think. But yeah, think about this. Boba Fett is Jon Favreau's favorite character. He wanted this to be a Boba Fett show, and they said, no, you can't really do that, but you can do the Mandalorian, and now if that would make perfect sense. Like, this is his dream come true to 100%. Be able to bring Boba Fett back. So,
you know how favorite of a character he is.
And I'm wondering what their relationship.
Like, do they know each other?
Is or would be.
Yeah, like, do they know each other?
And do we know, since the last time we see Boba Fett is in the Clone Wars, right?
Well,
all right, sorry.
In canon, it's Return of the Jedi.
In between A New Hope, special editions, and Clone Wars, we don't know what he was doing in between those times, right?
No, that 20 years.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there's stories of like old legend stuff, but nothing canon-wise.
So is in
actually
canon,
my fault. In the Star Wars comic book run, he did do a job for Vader. He was hunting down Obi-Wan, or hunting down someone.
Okay,
I think it might have been Obi-Wan, and he ended up at Obi-Wan's house on Tatooine.
Because we understood, like, a lot of hardcore Star Wars fans know that Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian, right? But what if, because we don't know the canon as to how. All right, Boba Fett wears the armor because his Jango Fett did, right? But do we know in canon how Jango Fett wears the armor? I know in Legends he stole it or something like that.
I don't know.
So what if, just like the Mandalorian, he was kind of taken in by the Mandalorian and accepted as a Mandalorian, and then what if at some point Boba Fett goes to the Mandalorians and gets accepted by them as well, even though he's not Mandalorian, gets accepted by them, because do they allow someone to just go around wearing their armor?
No.
Exactly.
Not that culture.
So that's what I'm thinking, because if they know each other, like, they wouldn't allow him to just wear the armor. So maybe they're cool with Boba Fett. Yeah.
I would love to see if they know each other.
And point being is, like, I'm curious, are they going to work together, or are they going to be fighting each other.
It's got to be Mando versus Boba.
I mean, yes, but is one of those things where they fight and then team up?
Is he coming for Baby Yoda?
Oh man, so like that would be insane because like
is he coming for Baby Yoda?
You know, the best bounty hunter in the galaxy and versus the Mandalorian
for Baby Yoda.
Oh my goodness.
Wild.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be wild. But yeah, so obviously we're very much looking forward to what's coming in the coming weeks. As Jacob mentioned at the beginning of the show, it drops on Wednesday. The 18th is when it drops, right before The Rise of Skywalker. We're probably going to try and meet before to do one of these for that, and that'll be on Wednesday. But for now, there's our total thoughts on everything.
No, I really like this episode a lot.
Yeah.
It's up there for me.
Like I mentioned, I understand the show now, and I get that it's not a serialized story.
You go into it expecting.
But I do hope that the next 2 episodes are kind of.
They kind of have to.
It's ending. So
you can't just do another standalone story and then another standalone story to wrap up the season.
It'd be very strange if that happened. And I mean, 2 episodes, and we don't know Baby Yoda's name. We don't know anything about him. Does that mean he's going to be in season 2, or if this is it for him? I don't know. But there's a lot to tell and a lot to answer in just 2 episodes.
For sure.
So, but yeah, there it is, guys. The Fandalorian Club, episode 6, The Prisoner. Let us know what you guys think of it down below in the comments. I see a bunch of comments here. Brian's in the chat right now watching.
Nice.
So, but yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Jacob, thank you for joining me on the Fandalorian Club. It is just us 2 today, and so look out for us on Apocalypse Now, our weekly show, and the Padawan podcast, which we will be previewing the Rise of Skywalker and with a bunch of questions, predictions, stuff like that. So if you're into that stuff, make sure you guys join us there. Again, I am Qui-Gon Jake. That is Obi-Wan Jacoby. This is Apocalypse Movies, Fandalorian Club. See you guys next time.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocalypse Movies, click this video up here. You want something a little bit different? Check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocalypse Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.